Back-to-back weeks on a Friday night, there has to be something going on here. You are correct. Welcome to a rather impromptu 2nd January episode of the Wise Guys Sports Show. I am one of your hosts, Jim Crenity, as I just get the YouTube notification on my phone. Let's actually bring in my partner, and the reason why we're doing an impromptu show tonight, Mike Martinez, as he actually goes ahead and cracks open his Mountain Dew. Mike, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. Doing real good.
Very, very much so, and we're going to touch on that in the second half of the show.
Yes, we are.
But if we're doing a back-to-back on consecutive Friday nights, 2 shows in a month, normally there's a little bit of a gap in there. We almost did last night and we almost did tonight and tomorrow night. And we'll touch on that here as to why in a little bit later on. But Mike, would you like to?
James, I feel a presence outside of the normal this evening.
There is a disturbance in the force.
This is a hell of a disturbance. It is the third wise guy. Did we not know there was one? And here he is. Alex Ruiz, all the way from Chicago, our friend. Alex, what's up, bud?
How we doing, guys? I am doing fantastic.
Yeah, how's the house, man?
The house is where it needs to be for the time being.
Very, very true words and foreshadowing.
Exactly. I got to tell you, when I sent Alex a thing like, yo, can you do tonight since someone's got floor seats tomorrow night?
Yeah. It's I'll self-gloss when we get into our first topic of the night.
So I said, yo, can you do tonight? He's like, nah, I got people coming over. Like a little bit later, I get, yo, no, I'm good. They're coming over Sunday.
We're in the clear.
Nice.
Yeah. So Mike's got some reason to celebrate. Alex is doing real well. It's the first time Alex has joined us here in a couple of months. I want to say probably the fall.
The anniversary show. Yeah,
the anniversary show. And me, I'm actually just out here getting more and more frustrated watching the Cleveland Cavaliers 1A team get stomped right now by 15 to the Golden Showers, who decided to sit Draymond, Steph, Clay, and Wiggins all tonight. And they're down 15 and Golden State's B team essentially has hit 17 threes in this game. Wasn't this when you see that all these guys are sitting and the only guy that you're missing right now, Mike, is Donovan Mitchell, really out of note in that lineup? Shouldn't you be winning this game by 25 right now?
Well, when it comes to that team from the Bay Area, between garbage calls in the first game that they played against them to, all of a sudden all these dudes turning into Steph Curry, I hate them.
Brad Doherty mentioned it on the broadcast, the TV broadcast on Bally Sports tonight. This is something that's kind of scary because 1 through 12 they can shoot the ball. Golden State can, and it's next man up, and guys just are actually trying to fight for their minutes. And problem is they're doing it right now at the expense of the 5th best team in the Eastern Conference. For a team who's 5-18 on the road this year as the defending champions.
Well, here's the thing, though. I think you and I touched on this a couple shows ago. The Cavs seem to play down at times, which is more frightening than this team finding a shot for the night. Alex, let me ask you this one. If you're watching your team, which is the Bulls have been historically really good they've had a little bit of a lull there at times, but they've been normally a really good team. Did it bug you a lot when they played down to who they were playing, when they were the better team?
It bugs me all the time. I mean, I feel like it's almost every team that I root for. Whenever it's a team that comes into town that seems to be a tough challenge, they either play really well or win. And then when the visiting team that comes in that has a terrible record, and then they get walked, like i.e. just a couple weeks ago when the Houston Rockets were in town and I think they put up like 144 points on the Bulls. And a perfect example, yes, it irks me.
Did you catch the Paris game with your guys yesterday, or
bits and pieces of it? I was at work, so I was just kind of tailing it on my phone. But I seen that they won. But I mean, they're having a scuffling season, and they're kind of in a rough spot right now because they've committed an excessive amount of money to Zach LaVine, and they're really not sure if they want to push all in or if they basically just need to blow it up. And that's what the never-ending cycle here is in Chicago for that team.
Yeah, but does it blow up the roster or blow up the coaching staff and the roster?
I think it's both.
Really?
I hope it's both, honestly.
Because switching sports for a minute, I said this last week. I said that I think Tennessee ought to blow it up, but Mike Vrabel needs to stay.
Yeah, but I'll tell you this much, getting back to the Cavs here for a very brief second. They lose this game by 20-25. I'm sorry. That's the kind of game that, I'm not saying it's going to get JB Bickerstaff fired, but if you lose this game, what if Donovan Mitchell was playing in this game and everybody for Golden State was sitting out? That's the kind of game that would get you fired.
Wouldn't get him fired yet. If it became a habit, then absolutely. But again, it comes into, are they playing bad and having a bad night? Or is this a systemic thing? And I think it's just a bad night.
It's probably just a bad night.
Well, it's something that everyone keeps thinking here on the broadcast that, Golden State's going to shoot themselves out, but they just keep hitting these threes. As it's now 17 and the Cavs just turned the ball over again. But it's more of a matter that with this loss tonight, you're going to lose to. We touched on it earlier in the year, Mike. It's you got swept by the Kings. You got beat soundly by San Antonio, who's one of the worst teams in the league. You've lost to Detroit this year, and now you're going to be losing to a bunch of backups in Golden State, even though they're the world champions.
But I mean, and then I hit the converse. They're undefeated against the Celtics. Are they even with Milwaukee?
1-2, and the final game is tomorrow night.
Yeah, at the Q. I'm sorry, Romo. It's at Romo Fijo tomorrow night. Obviously,
Correct.
If you're going to be there.
Correct, and I will actually be sitting third row from the floor. So, self-gloss on me. You've seen where my seats are when I go to these games.
Yeah, I know. I sat in Loudville the one time I went.
I'll be able to see
Loudville,
but I'll be looking up like this.
Yeah, that doesn't shock you a bit. That doesn't shock you a bit, though, me sitting in Loudville, does it?
No.
Alex, Loudville is the part of the arena where the fans are insane.
And they also incorporated a beer garden up there when they renovated the arena.
This was 8 years ago. This wasn't a beer garden when I was
there.
Yep. But here's a cool thing. Being a bigger dude, because, Big Rican isn't just a great name. It's also a lifestyle. Anyway,
God damn it!
James, I can't wait for the off the rails segments from this one.
Yeah, especially where the one you start choking on the popcorn.
I do what I can. I've told you that before. But the cool thing was my buddy who I went to the game with, who, by the way, actually, Jim, did you know this? Creedy's and I have the same birthday.
Yeah, I think you've told me this before. And oh yeah, by the way, it's happy, even though we're a couple hours away, happy 44th birthday to the Big Rican.
Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah. Did you have to do the age with Mr. a decade plus younger than both of us sitting here?
I'm gonna be 45 in 4 months. Shut it.
Bobby's gonna be 2.
Jeez,
Right?
man.
I think Alex did the first show after, and my wife is watching.
Oh,
No, Jim, did you see it?
Just got it.
Put it up.
Put
it up. I love you too, honey.
Why do I get the feeling, even though she's going to be sleeping in Bobby's room to put him to bed, you're still going to find a way to be on the couch tonight?
It's not a good, I have to pull. It's a pull-out couch, so it's got the queen size bed in it, but it's a good napping couch. But for long term, not so much.
I sleep on the couch every Friday and Saturday night. It's because it's closest to the big screen and the Switch.
Well, yeah. What was I saying? Oh, the Loudville. So here's a cool thing I did. So it's very tight up there before they did renovation. So I was kind of like scrunched a little bit. So my buddy and I, who went to the game with me, we go walking out, and I'm standing there kind of stretching my back, and this older gentleman goes, "What's going? Are you guys supposed to be here?" And we said, "Yeah, we're right up here." And my buddy goes, "Yeah, my dude here, he's kind of scrunched up, being a bigger dude." They pull out 2 padded folding chairs, stick them right behind the boxes in the upper tank, and he goes, "Here, sit here."
very nice.
You won't get that at the Garden. They'll throw you out.
Yeah, they take care of you down at Romo, Fijo, Q.
They really do.
Yeah,
They really do. Yeah, Alex, that was LeBron's first season back in Cleveland that I went. That's how long ago that was.
Oh, geez, that is a number of years ago, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Well, it was 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Is he making his way back anytime soon?
Nope.
No.
Although, did you see what Bronny's top 3 schools are, Jim?
I did.
No.
Overrated. I mean, Ohio State,
Oh no.
USC, and Oregon.
It's a Nike thing.
It is a Nike thing.
It's a Nike
But here's the other thing. He's only taken 1 visit.
He's got to, because he's got to come back home and see his family.
That's a good thing. That's a good reason too.
Yeah,
listen,
but if between the 3, if that's actually who he's saying, you got to go USC.
I don't know. He looks good in scarlet and gray, dude.
USC's got bigger upside, especially with the fact that they could be Pac-10 giants with USC. Well, then again, no, they're moving to the Big Ten. Better
He's
weather,
Big 10 2 out of 3.
better weather. Stays closer to home with LeBron. Better exposure.
I think with that last name and who his old man is, exposure is not going to be the issue. And speaking of my favorite school, did you see the Buckeye women are 19-0?
Yeah, what, second?
Yeah. And the men can't get out of their own way.
No. What an upside down season in college basketball right now.
It really is.
Loyola Marymount snapping Gonzaga's win streak last night.
Really?
76 in a row home record for Gonzaga, down the toilet to LMU.
And we haven't really heard that name since the Hank Gather stuff when Bo Kimball's shooting left-handed free. That's before your time, Alex.
Just a little bit.
Shut up. Now remember, Alex, you're on the Wise Guys page, which means all bets are off.
Mm-hmm.
The parental advisory logo goes up at the beginning.
No, I'm here. Let it fly. Let it fly.
Have you seen? Oh, Jim, has Alex seen? Or Alex, have you seen the number 1 Wise Guys off the rails clip of the year from last year?
I don't think so. I refresh my memory.
Let me play a little behind the scenes. I could probably pull it.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
So, Jim, by the way, Jim, the only way I would support a Mets City Edition jersey, someone designed it. It's a blue jersey, and it says Queens across the front in bright orange, like the Mets logo, like the Mets script. and it's got Mr. Met on one sleeve, and I think it's got a outline of Shea Stadium on the other.
That
So
would be pretty. That could be
that
pretty
I'd be
cool.
behind. But if Nike gets their hands on this and pulls some kind of shit like they did with the other one we're about to talk about, that's a problem. Don't pull the video. I'll just describe it.
No. I can pull it. It's just I got to remember how to get there properly.
So have you seen the NBA City Edition jerseys? The Chicago one's not terrible.
No, it's not, but it's kind of a little plain, I think.
Well, there are certain teams that it's anything but plain.
I think my memory is kind of.
I mean, you have the one from Washington. It looks like a dick and balls. You have Sacramento. It said Sacktown.
Do we, Mike? Did you watch the Steve Dangle podcast clip I sent you?
Yes.
Do we show that for Alex and do an instant react to him?
No. Show him the off the rails and do that one.
All right.
I don't want to get in any trouble with people from Canada. I got enough trouble with what's coming up soon. I'm going to walk in my first day wearing my Mets shirt. I don't want trouble from Steve Dangle in Canada.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. If you're a goaltender, 10 the goal.
How did that referee keep a straight face last week?
So you want me to just punch him in the fucking face? It was on Dang It's this week.
On the live mic, Alex.
He actually, and then he followed that up with somebody from the Lightning just cold cocked somebody from the Canucks in the face after the whistle, and he did a Captain Falcon reference from Smash Brothers.
Way.
What's that ref's name again?
Wes McCauley.
Wes McCauley. Oh God.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got it.
Right.
Hang on. Here we go.
We're going to drop off a second, Alex, and he's going to play this, and then I want to see your face when we come back.
Okay.
So I find it aesthetically pleasing. James disagrees. But there's always one that grabs your attention. And since we're on the Wise Guys page and we can be a little off color and not on my page, James, could you put up the picture that we pulled off the internet earlier this evening, sir?
Oh, do you mean this by chance?
Are you fucking kidding me? It says clit and ball on it. Really? I mean, come on. The scary part is Charlotte.
I'm so mad I couldn't get that clip.
The scary thing is Charlotte. This is for the Charlotte Hornets, by the way. And they have two of the Ball brothers on there. And then that's on the front of the jersey. And there's a guy with his legs spread on the front of the jersey. Come on.
Oh!
Come on.
You didn't bring that up before we went live. Oh God, I didn't even think of that.
That's called improvisation, James.
Oh fuck.
Oh my God, I can't even begin with this thing. Oh my God.
He looks like a Jedi.
Oh my Lord. They did that on purpose, didn't they? They did it on purpose.
How does that get through? And then, so we had the show, our buddy John from high school. He brings up, and there's a pinstripe running between the L and the T. You don't remember that, James?
I totally forgot about that.
And then, if you saw our year-end episode, apparently Bang Bros wants to name the arena down in Miami and be the sponsor.
I did hear about that, yeah.
Yeah. We want to call it the BBC.
So Alex is fuck. They could have closed it to 9. It's 12 going into the fourth. So
but they're a fourth quarter team, Jim.
Yeah, at least they made a little bit of a run. So Alex, who's going to be the in-arena entertainment host? Nikki Benz, Brandy Love, Johnny Sins, Lisa Ann, since she's got her own podcast.
She's probably the best bet.
Tough choices, all of them, honestly.
You know what? I'm going to go a little outside the box because she kind of knows her shit, except the fact that, regrettably, she suffered a severe injury. And I'd actually say Adriana Chechich. Did you see what happened to her a couple of months ago?
I don't know if I want to see what happened to her.
She's actually started, streaming games and everything, and they invited her down for like a stream con, and she did the the foam rubber, American Gladiator jousting into the pit of like foam bricks and everything. It wasn't deep enough, so she went to jump off of it and broke her back.
What?
No way.
She's going to have to wear a back brace for the better. She's already had 3 or 4 surgeries on her back and had to have, I want to say, definitely some discs and maybe a little bit of fusion. We're talking like mid-level back. She's streaming on Twitch right now, and she's actually got her brace off for because I watch her at least once a week when she's on, because she's not on constantly, but she's always got her brace on. And we're talking like a full torso brace.
Rough stuff.
Yeah.
So speaking of rough stuff, I want to ask Alex this question. And I say rough stuff, I mean the NFL. And I want to ask him this question, and it comes from the bottom of my heart. Are the Bears going to fuck this up?
If they do, I'm going to move out of this state. I'm going to move.
You coming with?
Maybe.
I mean, what is it? 140 million in cap space. The number 1 pick, which I said they should go line out, wide out, get a haul and like draft wideouts and linemen like they're going out of style. And Jim thinks they should I think you should use the cap room for the defense and do the draft for the wide receivers, because it's a decent wide receiver draft.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you can get a guy that he threw to.
Exactly. I mean, a lot of the talk in the town, and I mean, there's obviously foolish people who were of the mindset of like, oh, let's move on from Justin Fields, and I'm just like, well, we're not going to do that, and that would be idiotic. And then you kind of go after C.J. Stroud and bring in another Ohio State quarterback, and you build around him, and be that it is me. I don't want that to happen. No offense.
No, none taken.
But I would be okay with them giving up that first pick, move into 2. You're probably going to still get Will Anderson, and go from there. And you probably, I think, the way that they're kind of playing it out is like they would get pick 2 if they traded, and pick 12.
What I'm actually hearing, and it's starting to gain a little bit of steam, is Indianapolis might want to jump up to 1 to go get their quarterback, whoever it might be, Stroud, Levis, whoever it is. And this way you end up you just fall back to 4. The cap space is not that much different, and you end up picking up at least another 1 and possibly a 2 as well.
If they drop to 4, Jalen Carter's the pick.
Because the reason why I'm hearing Indianapolis wants to jump to 1 is they want to leapfrog the Texans to get their guy, because they're afraid Houston's going to go out and grab somebody, and it could
Houston's
be
taking Bryce Young.
Once.
Houston's taking Bryce Young.
So unless with the combine, but if Bryce Young is Indianapolis's guy, they'll go up and get him.
I agree. The other thing that needs to be stopped is people need to stop thinking Will Levis is the top of the end of this quarterback draft. He's not.
Quick question for you guys, and no sarcasm here at all by any stretch. Where's Stetson Bennett going to get drafted?
I think he's a 3rd rounder.
Second or third. I think he'll go in the 2nd round because someone will want to take a chance on him because of what he did the last 2 years at Georgia. But I will say this, no disrespect to Stetson Bennett, who had great 2 final years, and he's a great story. He reminds me of the A.J. McCarrons and those guys from Alabama who were the steward of a juggernaut.
Brandon Whedon, yeah.
Brandon Whedon, yep, those guys. Brandon Whedon.
Brandon Whedon.
What other hilarity have we not told Alex about, James? Should we tell him about the cleats we want to have made?
I was going to say, do we actually want to do a 3-hour show tonight?
Well, that's true. I did, however, take a little cat nap, so I'm okay for about 2. And oh, by the way, I got to start wearing a different shirt when I do these shows with you, because even in the clip, I was wearing the friggin' Cavs one.
Talk amongst yourselves. I will give you yet another topic. I will be back in 10 seconds because I cannot stand to watch this fucking game anymore.
Oh, wow.
He's heated. So last week, Jim asked me where I think different quarterbacks are. What'd you say?
108.93. They've hit 22 threes.
Turn it the fuck off. Take it on the chin. Come out and win tomorrow. So Jim asked me a interesting question last week.
Mm-hmm.
Where did I think quarterbacks were going to land next year?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll go over my answers. To Aaron Rodgers, I want to ask your opinion on this. I said, do I be the asshole and say the Jets like Favre? I didn't realize this, Jim. I don't know if you did. If they get rid of him, his cap hit next year is $99 million.
Correct.
So, like I said, Aaron Rodgers is going to be in Green Bay. But here's an interesting one that's come up a lot in the New York market. How about Lamar Jackson as a Jet?
I'm hearing Indianapolis, if they don't draft a quarterback,
they're going to have to give up that one to get him. But now think about that. Someone actually said today that the Jets should trade a conditional 4th-round pick to Tampa from Mike Evans.
Well, think about this with the Indianapolis thing. If they'd have to give up 4, yeah, and you give up multiple you'd have to probably give up multiple number 1s as well. Didn't the Cleveland Browns just give up 3 top 15 picks to be able to go get their alleged franchise quarterback? It's basically the same thing. You're drafting a guy who's a top 10 quarterback in the league and is going to be your focal point for the next 3 to 5 years, which is usually the gauge that you have when drafting a rookie quarterback.
How well is that working out for the Browns?
Yeah, you mean Deshaun Watson? I told you I was going to pull it.
I'm very happy you did. Alex, we want to have spikes made for him. We have artist friends. One cleat will have Bill Cosby's face, and the other one will have pudding pops.
Do you think you'll wear them?
I said that, or we have to hack into First Energy's audio, the PA system, and play either one of the Cosby Show theme songs when he comes running out, or the theme from Fat Albert. We haven't decided which one yet.
And then I brought up, since Baker Mayfield's not there and he didn't change the code, as we all saw, it's very easy to break into First Energy Stadium, especially if you want to turf the field.
Did you see that, Alex?
I did.
Okay, good.
I did.
Listen,
if you stop and think, if they were going to actually end up playing that playoff game here that they were talking about, that field still would not have been ready for that.
No, it wouldn't have been. Here's the thing about Lamar, though, Jim, and I'll say this, and this is all kidding aside. Lamar's actually done something. Lamar's won an MVP. Lamar has not missed the playoffs when he has been the main starter for the Baltimore Ravens since he took the ball out of Joe Flacco's hands. That schmuck hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
You mean they're not going to win the Super Bowl with him?
I don't think he's going to live out the contract.
Oh, I don't think so either.
3 years. Yeah, the only way they win the Super Bowl is if we're talking Tecmo Bowl.
And then they turn off the Xbox.
Rage quit.
Hey,
that's why I will not play Madden, because I'm going to be the one doing it.
Well,
I'd rather take the rage quit L than lose 72-0.
I've been playing, Alex. I pulled the PlayStation out of storage. I've been playing NCAA 14. How I missed that game.
Isn't NCAA actually coming back or no?
Yeah, but it's not coming back to the older gen consoles.
Of course.
So the Xbox Ones, you have 4, right?
I
PS4?
think if you go on like Discord or something, I think somebody modded a Madden game and stripped it to an NCAA game.
It's not the same because the thing with NCAA was Road to Glory, which is you start in high school. Like I built the Brush High School Stadium, James, and my character played there, and we actually won games.
Field?
Yeah, well, we actually won games.
It's a Alex. Our field was called Korb Field, KORB. They're installing the stadium. They did what, a 4-month renovation? They're installing the scoreboard, and the scoreboard was spelled wrong.
Oh God.
Kind of like the Snickers commercial, and they said, "That's great, but who are the chefs?"
Great googly muggly.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Let's combine these two topics getting off for a second. Retro sports game you would wish that they came out with a next-gen version for.
I would have said RBI baseball, but the next gen version is terrible.
Right.
I mean, Christian Yelich was on the cover of the one that I downloaded.
I think the last one that I played, Lindor, was.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah.
What about you, Alex? I mean, Tecmo Bowl's like that's the one. Do you remember the soccer game on Nintendo where you could have like the super kick and like kill the goalie? And
that was the same studio that did like River City Ransom and shit.
Yes.
And Super Dodgeball. Yeah,
that one. Because if you got the sports pack Nintendo, which is the one we got, which is like 4 or 5 years before it came out, you had that, and it had volleyball on it where you could spike the dude into the ground.
Yep.
That's the one we had.
Okay.
So that game where it's basically FIFA. It's basically NFL Blitz mixed with FIFA.
And that's exactly the one I was going to say, NFL Blitz.
I liked Blitz. You know what was very underrated? The Arena Football one. That was basically like the remake of Blitz. It was Kurt Warner's Arena Football Unleashed.
Yes.
I'm going to actually stay along Alex's path, even though I'm going to sound like a homer, but it was just so much fucking fun. NHL Hits.
How about Blades of Steel?
That would be nice, but then remember they also did a Blades of Steel on the original PlayStation, and it sucked balls.
I'm talking about the one from the Nintendo.
I understand that.
Where you beat dudes with sticks.
Right, but they tried to actually make a next-gen version or at least update something with that, and it just left such a sour taste in my mouth.
Yeah, no, the first NHL game I played that was really good was NHL 94 on the Genesis. But if you held the down arrow and you took a slap shot from the point, you always got it through the 5-hole.
Yeah, and then the one-timers. I always remember NHL Stanley Cup for the Super Nintendo, which was the first one that had the 360 rotation, because the NCAA basketball game that had the same engine was awesome.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They had an NCAA baseball game at one point in time, too.
They did.
I remember that.
It had the same batted ball sounds as, was it Bases Loaded?
Oh, you mean Jim Rome's favorite sound? Ping!
Yes. The one where if you hit a dude just right as a pitcher, he comes at you with the bat. I never really knew this because I never played it. And apparently one of my favorite metal bands from the 90s kind of got back together. But there was along the lines of like the NHL Hits and the NFL Blitz. There was MLB Slugfest. Yes.
Jim, I was literally just Googling that right now.
MLB Slugfest
2004.
20 03 or 04 because the band that I love did the opening theme song for 2003.
Okay.
There's a guy on TikTok who streams that game on Twitch.
And Mike, and you'd appreciate this, even though you don't probably know who the band is. They're named Dry Kill Logic. They're out of New York.
I've heard of him. I heard of him because of you guys.
Yeah, love me some DKL.
All right, so the Cavs are a wash tonight.
Yeah.
Again, what other hilarity have we not told him about yet?
Covered the arena, covered the jerseys.
Uh-huh. Oh, should we tell him that he was 2 of the top 6 off the rails clips of the year 2022?
Yes, he was. On our year-end show, we did a compilation of some of our best off the rails moments,
and you were in 2 of them.
Look at that, Mom! I hate it.
Good night, everybody.
The number 2 clip of the year was your anger at Tony La Russa. When I asked you,
I
what do you
say
call?
That might have been number 4.
No, that's right. Number 2 was the ice fishing.
Ice fishing was number 2. Yes.
What do you call when you murder a senior citizen? The right thing to do.
And what led off the top? What led off the top 6?
Was
Your
it
reaction
Flintstones?
to Devontae Adams.
Oh yes, he was in 3 then.
Yes,
he was in half of them. And the reason it was the first one to lead off is because Jim and I both forgot after you said that they were shower buddies. I came off the top rope and said, "Is that why Shailene Woodley left them?"
Boom.
Can you feel that, baby? Huh? As we're probably going to get demonetized and blocked for me doing that.
Seriously, do not. Don't go Ace Ventura on this thing here. All we need is John and we can do the mound visit. You've seen Bull Durham, right, Alex?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's what I'm speaking of.
Yep.
So who's breathing through their eyes wrong?
Well, he's got the hex on the glove. I can tell you that right now. You're the 2 middle infielders, and I'm breathing through my eyelids wrong. Because my dad was the one who would come to games with that big old camera and wave at you. Jim would be the guy who said, "Wait till I tell him she went down on half the Carolina League."
They cut it to 8 with 4 minutes to go.
They're going to win this game. Just to piss you off, they're going to win this game.
Right after it never fails. I shut the fucker off and they make a comeback.
I tell my father this all the time. Stop watching. I've watched 2. Well, now I don't have cable anymore because we got rid of cable, and I'm just streaming everything. So I have the Cavs app and I listen. Google just picked up. No, I don't need you.
Golden State is 22 of 39 from beyond the arc in this game.
Have they taken a shot inside the 3-point line yet?
They're 40 of 79 from the floor.
Yo, they're throwing up some serious numbers.
Jeez.
Dude, are they even getting into the 24-second clock?
No, not at all. It's because I think the only reason why they're actually winning this game is not even so much that, is they are dominating the Cavs 42-31 on the glass.
That's odd, especially if Jared Allen's playing. Is he in foul trouble?
No, between Jared, Okoro, Kevin, and
Mobley.
Looking up, let me pull the box score real quick for the Cavs. Okoro's got 4 fouls. Nobody else has more than 2.
What the hell?
Allen is minus 15. Okoro is minus 18. Garland's got 29. And Jordan Poole's got a game-high 32.
Man, that punch in the face really squared him up.
Right.
That's what it takes sometimes.
I still can't stand Draymond Green.
You mean fake Bobby?
That too.
And the fact that he's going to end up being a Hall of Famer for kicking guys in the balls.
He is not. He is not.
Somebody's going to put him in. Did you realize this? And Brad Daugherty brought this up on the broadcast. Steve Kerr has 9 NBA championship rings to his credit.
Yeah. He's got 3 with the Bulls, 3 with the Spurs, 2 with the Spurs, and 4 with Golden State.
I never put that together. There's a part of me that completely forgot about his time with the Spurs.
So let's say this then. According to most of the general media, he's better than Michael Jordan.
9 beats 6, doesn't it?
Yeah. Shaq had a great line. I want to ask the Chicago guy this one. And then, Jim, I want your opinion on it too. My first ever Big Rican birthday bash. Alex, you watched it when I did the LeBron Jordan debate.
I did.
Which even the Chicago guy said to me, when you look at it that way, Jim, my main point was this, and there was 4 of them. The only thing at the end of their careers that Michael Jordan will have more of or a better record than LeBron in a non-team thing is free throw percentage. Michael never won a title without a Hall of Fame head coach, college, Olympic, or pros. He never won a title without a Hall of Fame running mate, college, Olympic, or pros. Because everybody forgets it was James Worthy who kicked him that ball in that NCAA championship game. And he never stepped on a finals court as an underdog. And he certainly didn't play the teams LeBron did.
Yeah.
But Shaq made a good point. Shaq doesn't think LeBron will pass Mike. But if he passes Kareem in points, everybody needs to shut up. Because that's 4 titles, 4 MVPs. You're the all-time leading scorer. You're top 5 in rebounds, top 10 in assists. At what point in time do we stop saying a team thing makes somebody better? Jim, you're the journalist, and it seems to be the journalists that are doing this crap driving me crazy. What is your opinion on that?
You always have to think of the different guys in different eras. And by the way, speaking of LeBron, did you see how he got trolled by one of the Rockets the other night?
No.
Jabari Smith Jr.
I did see that.
Alex, did you see this?
But how he played with his dad?
He played against his dad in his first game.
Unreal troll job. And kudos to LeBron for taking it on the chin and laughing his ass off in the middle of play.
But how can you not at that point in time? I mean, first of all, that number one that's a shot by the player, but it was all good natured. It wasn't like he was taking shots. At what point in time do we not take our hat off to his longevity?
Yeah. And as much as we hate to say it, for guys who hold on that long, it's the fact that they can still compete at a level enough to be able to keep them there. We want Brady to go the F away.
Jim, we're on our page. Just say it.
But he's 45 years old, and we're actually thinking, where's he going to play next year?
Alex, I said he should go to Shady Pines.
It's an option.
Which you know is the home from the Golden Girls. Actually, I think I said Shady fucking Pines. But
I love that show actually too.
Oh, I love that show. What was it? Jim told me, did you see they rebooted Night Court? Not that you'd know what that is. You were too young.
I know what Night Court is. Yes, I do.
Jim said there's a mural that was painted by the guy who took the janitor's place. It's the 4 Golden Girls with baseball mitts because he couldn't paint hands.
Alleged, according to because I watched it because I grew up on Night Court. It was one of my all-time favorite shows as a kid. And it was, they said that the janitor, was a painter and he was almost in the Getty Museum. And they thought it was the world famous Getty Museum out in LA. It turns out it was the Estelle Getty Museum. So he painted the Golden Girls in judicial robes on the back wall of the courtroom, and they're all wearing baseball gloves because he can't do hands.
Jim, I have to go on NBC's website and watch those episodes.
Yeah, don't expect a whole lot out of the first one, but you're definitely going to get some chuckles. Can we do a reaction? I want to kind of show you guys something that I completely forgot about in the course of our discussion.
I'm a little concerned, but go on. Is this visual aids?
It is a visual. It's going to be kind of an instant reaction. And this is about a month ago, but it involves the New York Rangers.
Oh, God.
And this is a Steve Dangle clip. Let me go ahead and throw it up.
Maybe been called for too many
I
men
have
on
to
the
unmute that.
ice, especially the Hurricanes. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, no. To finish. Loud. You like for next, dang it. I love laughing out loud. Do you love laughing out loud? Do you like LOLing? Cool. Great. Here's Jacob Trouba trying to hit Nico Hischier.
For shorthanded goals this season. Take away by Hischier. He bumped it, lost control, and
Okay, so producer Nick said there's no replay of this, and I think that's fine because we can just show it again.
for shorthanded goals this season. Take away by Hischier.
Okay, that was good. That was even better the second time. Hey, is there anything stopping us from doing it a third time? No, we can just do it. Okay, show it again.
For shorthanded goals this season. Take away by Hischier.
Okay, that's enough. That's gonna need a fourth one. It tickles me. It's perfect. That's a dang it. For our next dang it, show the Jacob Trouba one again. Okay, I'm done. I promise I'm done. Okay, we need to get this back on track.
Either the dude from the Devils,
Mario Kart music in the end.
either the dude from the Devils is a wizard, or that guy from the Rangers needs his eyes checked.
Oh God, I can't stop watching that half the time. It's like that it kind of reminded me of like something we were talking about earlier, and then also like one of the plays in the Cavs game, just somebody just go flying by.
Did he just not? Did he shut his eyes?
He just flat out whiffed because there was another one, I want to say the week before, where a guy went to make the check and he missed and he went right into the stanchion, right where the boards meet the bench.
Ugh.
Alex, what are your Blackhawks doing this year?
Tanking.
Well, what's the term that's being used? Suck hard for Connor Bedard?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Suck hard for Bedard. I honestly haven't been watching much Blackhawks. The last time I watched them, they gave up like 6 in the first period, and I was just like,
"Yeah, that was it." To the Wild.
No, that was actually to the Kraken.
They've done it more than once.
That's
Yes,
right. That's
it's
right.
more
That was in
than
Dangets that was in Dangets yesterday because the Kraken scored on 5 consecutive shots.
Mm-hmm.
Who's playing goalie? Goldberg?
Nobody.
Oh, okay.
Nobody. It's just open.
Yeah,
net.
right now your Blackhawks are the 3rd worst team in the NHL.
I would have thought they were the last. They were
Yeah.
the worst.
No, I take that back. They are the 2nd worst. The only team worse than them are the Columbus Blue Jackets, who actually spent all that money to get Johnny Hockey and blow.
Yeah, what's that?
The Blackhawks are even worse than the Arizona Coyotes, who are playing in a college arena this year.
That's right. That stadium is holds what, 10,000 people, if that?
5,500
5,500. Look at that.
for the next 3 years. Oh yeah, Mike, you haven't heard this story. Gila River Arena in Phoenix, because the Suns and Coyotes have never shared a building together, terminated their lease with the Coyotes, basically leaving them on the street, and they are now playing in Arizona State, who has their own hockey team. In the NCAA, They're playing in a 5,500 seat college arena to where there was no visitor dressing room. So they sent the Coyotes out on the road for 6 weeks to build an annex for proper dressing rooms. The Coyotes are stuck there for 3 years while they're still potentially waiting on an arena to be built in Tempe, which still hasn't been approved yet.
They're not
Because
stuck there for just 3 years.
Because Gary Bettman will not admit that he made a mistake trying to put hockey in the desert and move them to like San Antonio or Houston. And this was the conversation we were going to have with Willie. I'd actually like to get Alex's take because this is something that we've been wanting to talk about for a while.
You want to talk about all the teams are talking about moving, or you just want to do this one?
Let's do a handful of them, just quick. We can even bring it up with Willie as well.
Well, one of the teams is Willie's team, so I think we need to.
Yeah, so let's take some of the teams that in all 4 of the major leagues that are dramatically struggling. And what do you do with them? So first of all, what do you do with the Arizona Coyotes right now, who are essentially orphans playing in a college gym?
Look, where would you play him in San Antonio? Would you play him in the Alamodome?
Do you put him in the AT&T Center with the Spurs?
How does
you can't move him to Seattle? You want to keep him you still want to keep him in that geographic area. Me personally, as a hockey guy, and Alex, you follow hockey as well. I'm thinking probably one of the best 3 scenarios. First of all, to keep him in the Western Conference, this way your realignment is very low. Houston, San Antonio, or Kansas City.
Can Colorado not do another team just to stay west?
They'll do another team in Toronto before they put another team somewhere else.
See, here's where they have a way to do it, and that is move them to LA and do what the Chargers and Rams are doing with SoFi, with the Staples Center and the Kings. Is that where you play the Staples Center? The Kings?
Crypto.com or whatever it is. Yeah. It's. I don't know if the Kings will want to share that barn though, and it's very hard for teams to share an ice rink like that. A basketball arena is one thing, but the ice surface, because you've got to repaint everything, I don't know how that would even work.
Who else has an arena out there? Could you move them to the Bay Area?
You could possibly do San Diego. Could you put them in San Francisco where the Dubs play? Would the Dubs want to share that arena?
I think if they're going to get money to have them there, they'd take it.
Do you really want to put a 5th team in California though?
What other choice do you really have? I mean, you closed up Vegas when you brought the Golden Knights in.
Yeah. Seattle's not an option anymore.
Not anymore.
Who are right now leading the Pacific Division.
I saw
Portland?
that.
Huh?
Portland? No team in Oregon.
They share
you'd have to do dramatic renovations to the Rose Garden or build a brand new arena.
Yeah, but couldn't that get the new arena done for both the Blazers and them?
Kind of like strip it down and rebuild it, kind of like what you did with the Key Arena. Now Climate Pledge.
Sounds about right. I mean, we've seen basketball and hockey in the same building for years and years with the Knicks and the Rangers. Who else? Chicago. It's the same stadium in Chicago.
Right.
You can get it done.
And ironically enough, Miami's not one of those. I brought this up when I talked about the Heat breaking the free throw record last week. Mm-hmm. We know the situation with the Heat. They don't play in the same building as the Panthers, who play 25 miles away in Sunrise, Florida, which, by the way, also doesn't have naming rights because FTX, another crypto company, I think, or like bowed out or something, or no, that was the name of Miami's arena that folded up. The arena where the Panthers play is the largest arena in the state of Florida and second largest in the southern United States, only behind the Greensboro Coliseum.
Which, by the way, is a great place to go watch hockey. When we used to do the baseball trips in high school, Jim, we went to a Greensboro minor league game. Great place to watch hockey. Florida, I understand not having the two because of
Market share and everything.
market share and everything. But number one, number two, it's more about they're going to get more of a hockey crowd in Sunrise than they are in South Beach.
Yeah. And that's why they've not called them the Miami Panthers and just the Florida Panthers, kind of like how they actually changed them from the Phoenix Coyotes to the Arizona Coyotes.
Well, that was when the city of Miami paid for the stadium. It used to be the Florida Marlins. That's why it's the Miami Marlins now.
Right. But can you think of anyone who's struggling that bad in the NFL where you could think about moving somebody?
Cleveland. That was fucked up. I'm sorry.
They still draw.
No, I know they draw. And I'm just being an ass.
Yeah, I know. But
because, again, it's my birthday and I can be a dick if I want to.
Can you think of anybody? Can you think of anybody in the NFL that could potentially let's play universal GM for a minute?
I know one that would make sense, but it would take an ownership change to do it, and that is the Jets. There are Jet fans all over Twitter screaming, "Can Steve Cohen buy the Jets and move them back to New York, please?" Because he wants to build up the area where Citi Field is. Now, one of the few things Rudy Giuliani did before he drank the Kool-Aid was no, and I'm being serious.
It's a shame he didn't drink the same. It's a shame that him and the guy he follows didn't drink the same Kool-Aid Jim Jones was handing out.
I'd prefer antifreeze at that point in time.
On baloney? Come on, please tell me you get the reference.
I don't, but
Sebastian Maniscalco, dude,
Yes,
go look it up.
I'm not. Yes, listen, I don't know. I've watched some of his stuff on Facebook. I just can't.
I think it's because I'm the paisano and Alex is from Chicago, where he's from.
I'm just built like Fluffy, so that's really my whole thing.
Although the one that I sent you, the one right around Christmas, the one that I sent you about in your grandmother's house.
Yes, that was funny. But one of the few things Giuliani did before he lost his mind was he had all four teams agree they were going to build two retractable dome multi-use stadiums, one where the new Yankee Stadium sits and one where Citi Field sits. And they were going to bring the Jets and Giants back to New York, and the Mets and Jets would share the one in Queens, and the Giants and Yankees would share the one in the Bronx. And Mike Bloomberg said no. So we could have had that for the last, Bloomberg took office in 2002, so we did for the last 20 years. But that's one I think could happen if Woody Johnson sold the Jets to someone who wanted them back in New York. I don't think he'll do that because of the check that him and the Mara family wrote for MetLife. But
what about baseball? The obvious one are the Oakland A's.
They're going to Vegas.
You think they go to Vegas?
I wouldn't be shocked if they went to Vegas and struck a deal with the Raiders to turn that stadium into a multi-use.
I could see it.
Yeah, or what about with all that extra area, maybe something off the strip, maybe out in the desert, just like literally off the strip where you can build a baseball exclusive park?
I mean, they have that out there for spring training.
Right. And it's definitely something you can house baseball. It's but then again, the fact of the matter is it's legitimately out in the desert in the middle of nowhere. So in the middle of baseball season, you're going to have games routinely over 100 degrees.
They would play 0 day games.
Or just put a roof on it.
That's why I said with the Raiders, because you make the necessary adjustments with not that the A's will invest, because God knows they don't invest in shit. But yeah, the A's I think are going to move.
That's so unfortunate.
It is unfortunate.
When you look at the pictures and videos of people going to their stadiums and like their seats are broken and stuff, like that's BS.
Think about this. 5 years ago, we had the A's winning the AL West, we had the Raiders in the AFC Championship game were knocking on the door, and the Warriors winning 3 out of 4 titles. And now within the next 2 or 3 years, you're not going to have a single team playing in the city of Oakland.
Which is sad. I mean, it's beyond sad. That's the only thing. I think Tampa Bay is going to stay. They're going to get a stadium done. They're too scrappy and too good year in and year out not to.
Could you maybe see a scenario where they retrofit Tropicana Field, maybe take the roof off and make it a grass stadium? Get rid of the stupid catwalks and everything.
No. Retrofit it to not have the catwalks, maybe, but the grass, no. Because you figure it's very rainy. It rains every day in that area. So you can't really screw. You got to have a dome there unless it's football. When they get the new stadium, I think it will be retractable as opposed to a straight dome like they're in now. But it's got to have a roof on it.
Outside of Minute Maid, is there another retractable in baseball that's not like Sky Dome?
Milwaukee, Miller Park.
Okay, I was not aware of
Arizona. Bank. Well, I call it Bank One, Chase, whatever the hell it is now. That I believe is retractable too.
Yeah, because I'm certainly not putting Rogers Center in this because that's a multi-purpose.
What about the Rangers' new stadium in Arlington?
Is that retractable?
I think
that's
so.
A garage.
It is. It looks like a Weber
it's a
grill.
Barn. It looks like a what?
Well, a Weber grill.
Choctaw. It doesn't. Not from the pictures that I'm seeing.
I hope Jacob DeGrom gets burnt out there.
Hey, really quickly, while Jim is searching something, give me your X-rated thoughts on the whole Carlos Correa situation.
I find it very funny that he had a physical in 10 minutes with Minnesota. And of course, Boris was running his mouth, and apparently the Mets consulted 4 different doctors and the one the Giants had. Steve Cohen is not afraid to spend money, and if Scott Boras pissed him off, he's going to cut off the.
Sorry, Globe Life at Texas does now have a retractable roof.
Okay. Scott Boras was running his mouth, and I don't think that agent would want to piss off the guy who's spending an exorbitant amount of money. By the way, Alex, I love the Tommy Pham signing.
He's going to start whooping people's asses for fantasy football.
Never mind that. Do you understand if he becomes a Met fan favorite, the amount of thugs he will have to take care of his business?
Let's bring the bats.
You and I both know this, Alex, with our Cardinal fandom.
Him as a 4th outfielder is a good thing to have. But it's. I told Jim this. I'll tell you this. I think the 2 names the Mets sign in the 2024 offseason are Machado and Ohtani.
Okay, what is that team's payroll going to be?
Right now, with the luxury tax, it is just short of $500 million.
So you're pushing well over $1 billion next.
No, because after this year, Escobar comes off, Canna comes off, Marte I think comes off.
And you're letting those
gonna
guys walk?
I think Brett Beatty is the everyday left fielder next year. I think Francisco Alvarez will be the everyday catcher next year. Manny Machado wants to play for Buck again. And the big one, the absolute big one is what you're going to have 121-14.
Yep.
Are you guys actually going to give Ohtani a $500 million contract?
I wouldn't put it past him. Because you take care of 2 needs with him.
Right.
But the thing I think,
it.
yeah, and the thing they have to do this coming off season is they have to sign Alonso and McNeil long term. They don't have a choice. But going away from baseball for a second,
Mhm.
I want to ask Jim this one question that has been boggling my mind for a couple of days. So apparently there are fans of a certain football team that think they can send whatever they want to whoever they want to get a wide receiver. And I made a comment, and I want your opinion on it. Somebody said send 2 draft picks, low round, to Arizona for DeAndre Hopkins. And my response to that was, with the way the rest of the NFL feels about Jimmy Haslam and the deal he gave to Captain Pudding Pop, or Fentanyl, whichever one you want to call him.
No, Fentanyl was the guy we model him after.
Okay. I'm remembering the Cameron Hayward video I sent you guys. Did I send you that, Alex?
You did.
Or my other favorite one's the first time he ever had the word no stop him when New Orleans beat the Browns. Sorry. They actually think they can. No, I'm really not. They actually think they can send low round draft picks for DeAndre Hopkins. So what I said was, if I'm the GM and owner of the Arizona Cardinals, that costs you Nick Chubb. Just to be an asshole. Because that's why they had to give Captain Call of Duty that contract.
Yeah, I brought this up on Facebook, commenting on like some sort of some Browns group or something.
Yeah.
That, you know, everyone's thinking these are 3 big time free agents you need to go target.
With what?
You're 12.8 million over the cap, and guess what? You're paying Anthony Walker $600,000 and he's not going to be here. You're paying him that for the next 4 years as signing bonus money. But wait, there's more. You're paying Jadeveon Clowney $1.6 million dead cap as signing bonus for the next 4 years, and he will not be here. Oh, wait, there's more. There is somebody else that is not going to be on the roster. You are still paying Austin Hooper to the tune of about $500,000 over the next 2 years, and he has not been on your roster for a full season. You're going to have to let a bunch of guys walk to be able to get under that cap number. And oh yeah, looking over the draft pick scenario for next year, 1 pick in round 2, 2 in round 4, 2 in round 5, a 6 and a 7. I'm no mathematician, but that means that's only 7 picks in that draft and 12 million over the cap. With what?
He has got to be the dumbest redneck on the planet.
To make matters worse,
it's worse.
Alex, the Chicago Bears are 115 million under the cap. And the draft picks and conditionals are still being determined right now. So on SpotTrack.com, the only draft pick that is listed right now for the Chicago Bears is the number 1 overall pick.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Mike, I know you mentioned earlier, like, they cannot fuck this up. They just cannot.
They can't.
They can't.
And I'll say this right now. If they don't, they're going to win the North.
I looked up another site. The Bears have 1, a 2, a 3, 2 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th, and a 7th.
You know who's going to be there in round 2 is JSN because of the injuries.
Did you see that Yahoo or Sports Illustrated, one of the two, came out and listed their top 10 final rankings of rookies after the regular season, and 3 of them were the wide receivers that the Browns could have had at least one of them.
Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave,
and the kid from USC.
St. Brown?
Drake London.
Drake London.
Oh, Drake London. Oh, St. Brown was last year's draft. St. Brown was in that clusterfuck of a draft we tried to do. Which, by the way, the mock draft this year is on the Wise Guys channel.
Oh no. Oh no.
Please, no major trade. I don't want to have to go McKiper 48 hours before.
Part of me wants a big trade now.
I need to figure out a way to be able to get like a live board for like all of us, like in real time. I don't care if it's a Google Doc and I have to update it as we go.
That'd be kind of cool, actually.
And have it like where Mike's at right now and put the big board there and then put the rest of us down the side.
Alex looks like Don Corleone sitting there like that. What was that?
He's just stretching, that's all. It's just
yeah, my back is killing me. It's the upper too. Usually it's the lower. It's like up here. Yes, Mr. Burns, we see you.
Figure out you can get in on it a little bit.
Just a little bit. I mean, I read some of these mock drafts and these guys pushing Will Levis are going to make me want to throw up.
And as much of a clusterfuck as we've actually just discussed that the Browns are, Mike, I can't believe I'm saying this, but the smartest thing that they did all season was hire Jim Schwartz 2 nights ago.
It was, but here's the problem. You ready for this? Who's he going to coach? First of all, he's going to do something they've been needing to do for the last couple of years. They're going to play straight up man to man. That's all he does is play man up. And now you're going to see Hospital Ward's going to be an elite defender again. I firmly believe that.
When he's on the field, yeah.
That's what I mean.
Alex, how did the line go from Shane Douglas? I see guys here stub a toe and take 6 months off. That's a bunch of bullshit.
mm-hmm.
Who got a puppy?
I do. I have a dog.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of puppy?
He's a little hound mix.
Nice.
Actually, it's very funny. I named him Griffey because why not?
Yo, did you see Baseballism's coming out with a RBI baseball digital version of him on a hat?
No way, really?
Yes.
That's sweet.
Was it the live reaction draft after Bobby was born that you had that hat on?
Mm-hmm.
He had the Jim. Is it the where he's blowing the bubble? Is that the one you have?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's got that, and he wore it.
I'm changing my pick from earlier. Retro game. I want to actually see a next gen version of Ken Griffey Jr. on baseball.
That would be awesome.
Was it that one where the pitcher would start going like this and look like he was playing with himself? Or was that the Roger Clemens game? Because that'd make more sense.
Favorite baseball game from the 90s? Because that one's up there.
Ooh.
World Series baseball's in the conversation. Triple play 94 through 98.
I don't know if this one's in the 90s. It could be early 2000s, but I was a fan of Slugfest.
Slugfest is early 2000s.
Early 2000s.
I can't remember which one it was. Might have been triple play, but it was the first one where you could do trades when you did a franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember religiously sending Todd Hundley to the Dodgers for Mike Piazza after 1998 every single time I played.
Vastly underrated game. Cal Ripken Jr.'s baseball.
Yes.
RBI baseball back for Sega Genesis. I had a couple of those ones.
Before they screwed the whole thing up.
Anything Sega Genesis with sports games was pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Montana.
Joe Montana.
Yup. I always liked 93 more than 94 because 94 actually started getting into like Madden territory. They tweaked a couple of things and just made it way harder than it needed to be.
Yeah. See, that was back in the day when I was playing NHL a lot because the Mets were garbage and I didn't want to play the baseball games. So I would take and play NHL 94 with that Rangers team that won the cup.
Mm-hmm.
The Mike Gartner, the Messier, the Brian Leach, the Stefan Matteau. Yeah, those boys.
Matteau.
Hey, did you see they're inducting him? It's Howard Johnson, Al Leiter, Gary, and Howie are all going into the Mets Hall of Fame this year. And Gary Cohen is a finalist for the Frick Award.
Good for him. Did you see my Sabres retired Ryan Miller's number last night?
No, I didn't, but that's long overdue.
Yeah. And then they won against the Islanders 12 seconds into frickin' overtime.
Did you stay up for it?
I tried to, and ESPN Plus was being a bitch and buffering. So I had to listen to the radio call instead.
Yeah. But I find it funny that Gary and Howie are going in the same year because the original broadcasters, Lindsey Nelson, Bob Murphy, and Ralph Kiner, all went into the Mets Hall of Fame the same year. And Howie and Gary, being Met fans since day one, grew up on those three and now have become the modern version of those guys. And gentlemen, you know how much I hate the Wilpons, right?
Yeah.
They're still rearing their ugly heads. They are not negotiating with Keith Hernandez because they still own SNY. Met fans will kill them. And I'm not talking verbally. They will actually kill them if Keith Hernandez is not in that booth come February 25th. The man is a national treasure.
Try to think of some really, really bad, tasteless murder joke. In the words of Sterling Archer, damn it, I had something for this.
Jim, just react to what I'm saying. I'm typing to you now. Do not say it on the air. Just react.
Oof.
Staff!
You know where I heard that one? Howard Stern.
Go figure.
Right? In an episode, it was Howard. It was some comedian. Beetlejuice was on there. Alex, you were 10. You were long in bed at this point in time. But, I mean, this was... Oh, my God.
Comedian you'd pay, if you had to pick 2, maybe 3 comedians, you'd pay good money to go see. Right now.
Fluffy. Right now. Fluffy, Chris Rock. And Dunham.
For me, I'm also saying Chris Rock. I'm saying Dave Chappelle. Shit. I guess it's only 2 for right now. That would.
I will add a 4th to even it out, and I will say Pat McAfee.
Oh God.
Jim, give me your 3, and then I want to ask Alex the question about game day that I posed to you a while back.
In no particular order, I'm going to go Maniscalco, Nikki Glazer, and very up and coming, even though she's got her own Netflix special. I think Taylor Tomlinson is hilarious.
She's hysterical. So, Alex, I posed this question to Jim a while ago, and it's not really a question. It's what I think should happen. Did you watch College Game Day at all this year?
Yeah,
Okay.
a couple times.
So you know Pat McAfee is now the best part of College Game Day. The singing of a certain song that Jim cannot stomach, notwithstanding. Jim, you know what song that is. I'm not going to sing it again.
You forget my finger's on the button tonight.
I know your finger's on the button, but it's my birthday. You won't do that to me. Yeah, you would. Anyway.
Don't compare.
Anyway. Oh, that's getting cut. So here's what I said.
Alex, you will appreciate this. Big Rican, you just made the list.
Yes.
Yes.
So here's what I think should happen. We all know Coach Corso's been ill for some time now, which for those of us who grew up on game day is very, very sad. But I thought it should happen this year because game day was in Columbus. And when Coach goes to put the headgear on, and it's got to be Brutus because that's where it started. No, I know Jim isn't all into that, but this is the heartstrings pulling. And before Coach goes to put it on, he just turns to McAfee and goes, "Here you go, kid." And that's how he retires. I would bawl like a little girl.
Unless, and I'm sorry to step on Alex's toes here. What if McAfee does that, or Kosor does that, and McAfee does in typical McAfee fashion, takes the head, throws it away, and grabs the other one?
That might be even better. But I don't think, and the thing is, if McAfee doesn't know, like if that's a surprise thing that he does, I don't think McAfee would do that. I think he would honestly understand what he was being given, which in all reality is the stewardship of college football. He's next. The impact on game day was undeniable. And the sideline thing, when they said that's how the cookie crumbles and they flipped the mics, did you see that? I mean, that was gold. Absolute gold. Alex, would that hit you right in the heart if something like that happened?
Yeah, I mean that's passing the torch right there. That's like, here, here's the keys. Run with it.
I need to see that.
Let me play devil's advocate, and I'm going to pose this question directly at Alex because he knows the source material a little bit better here. Could you see a scenario where McAfee goes exclusively to the four-letter network, especially with all the turmoil that's going on right now with his other employer, especially when his old boss forced his way back in?
I certainly could see that, and it's kind of a travesty that he's missing out on that experience, because what he has done in his short time there, and essentially main event some high profile matches, it's really unfortunate. But I can almost see him probably going over to the big Disney company and
since I know what you're
our worst nightmare though. Yeah, Mike, go ahead.
Since I know what you're talking about, they're the ones that told him to go do game day because he wanted to do both.
And also considering there's a potential that Disney could be one of the buyers allegedly.
I think he likes his format like we have, where he can say basically what he wants. Think about the names he has on his show now as regulars. Von Miller has his own day of the week. Aaron Rodgers has his own day of the week. He can't run the same show if he's over at the mothership, which is quickly burning itself down in flames.
I don't know if his podcast would move because of the distributorship he has with the podcast, but you and I talked about it on our last show. He's actually turned into the Drew Carey of sports right now. It's he's got three different irons in the fire. It's but the possibility he's under whatever umbrella the podcast is on. He's under the Titan umbrella, and he's also under the Disney umbrella. There's a possibility now that two of those could be under the depending on who the buyer is, one of those could end up being NBC Universal, and then the other one's Disney, and then again whoever distributes his podcast.
That's him. The show is him.
I thought he was it was overseen or produced or distributed by, I don't want to say like Scripps or something. I thought he actually had like where it's just you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think it's on Mad Dog Radio on Sirius.
Okay.
But it's his YouTube channel and his everything that he does. And he just got a Bud Light sponsorship too.
I mean, everything he does, everything he touches turns into gold. So I could understand why all the big names out there are clamoring to get a piece of him.
Plus, he's just a good dude.
He is.
Although he's taking a hiatus soon.
Is he?
They got a baby on the way.
Oh, okay.
After some serious stuff with that, they finally have a little girl, believe it or not.
Oh, good for him.
Little girl, Mr. and Mrs. McAfee have a little girl on the way, which I think is great. Oh, wow. We're hour and 26, Jim.
For something that we said we might only do 45 tonight.
No, 45 is when if we start doing this more than once a week.
Yeah, we're actually going to talk about that here in the final segment.
Let's jump in, since Alex will most likely be on some of these things. So, lots of changes coming. Oh, you went and did it?
No, not set up the individual one
yet.
The
hashtag.
We've had that hashtag since the anniversary show.
Okay. So changes are coming. In a very heart-wrenching move for me, I think the original pilot of this whole thing, the Big Weekend on Sports, is going to take a backseat to the baseball show, which once the next change that I go talk about, which I told you guys about off the air, gets done, we'll have to dive in and get those 6 episodes done, Alex. So strap in, dude.
Which actually might not be the worst thing in the world, just because this way we're not actually talking about spring training. We're actually into the meat of it.
That's true. But I think we're going to go a little wise guy centric. Steph had this idea. She goes, you guys, you're on there for such a long time. And I'm like, yeah, but it's like once a month. She goes, so do it more than once a week. Exactly. Because here's the thing. Him and I talk twice a week on the phone. We do this. Never crossed our minds.
Never. The first time it crossed my mind was with the little teaser, the little seed that you planted in my head about something we also talked about off the air.
Oh, I think I remember. I got a lot going on, Jim. Our first show back from hiatus after tonight, because after today, dude, I can't. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Which we won't get into that.
Right.
When we go off the air, Alex, we'll stop being cryptic, I promise.
Okay.
So the hiatus. So we dropped a little bit about this last week, but it is official. The Martinez family is moving to Brunswick, Georgia. My transfer came through with my job. I head down there. I start working down there on the 20th of February. So it is bye-bye upstate New York. Hello, the sunny shores of Brunswick, Georgia.
We're going to have a Buckeye fan sitting right in the middle of SEC country with all of that gear.
And with that, Big Ricky will now become a Braves fan.
And now you're on the list. There are two things.
Alex Ruiz, you just put Mike on the list again.
There are
He's
two
on the
things
list.
there were two things I will never do. They are as follows. I will not tomahawk chop because I think it is a vile thing.
Hey, Robin Hood Men in Tights did it. It's good enough for you.
Okay. First of all, that's my least favorite part of that movie. Second of all, and listen, even Dom DeLuise's horrible Brando impersonation is better than that garbage.
Yeah.
Second thing I won't ever do is I will never, ever root for the SEC. I've already decided my first day in the new outfit. I will wear my Mets shirt. And on the second day, I will wear scarlet and gray. I don't care.
And he will not make it to a third day. So the Wise Guys show, this will be our final episode.
You sounded like a soap opera guy telling somebody that the actor who once played this one is being now played by somebody else.
You also remember at my job, I am the voiceover on every line for a multi-million-dollar affiliate.
When are you going to start doing voiceover work like Ryan Reynolds tries to do?
Alex, speaking of which, did you see the NFL is going to be hosting a game at Tottenham Stadium next year?
I did. That's the game. That's the stadium I actually went to. It's a beautiful stadium.
They're playing, I think.
That's right. You went over there.
Yeah, they're playing 5 overseas games next year.
They're doing 2 of them in Tottenham Stadium, and they're doing 2 of them, I want to say, in like what's the name of that? Wembley, I think, which is like it's basically like that.
Is
one
the
in
fifth
the
one in
Coliseum.
Munich?
Yes.
I wonder if John's going to work the game again. Our buddy that we keep referencing, John, who went to high school, both Jim and I, he was on the referee crew in Munich.
No way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Him and Willie are trying to hook up for a Ballers report so he can talk to him about it. But he's a Division II referee. So he did the playoffs when
was it 2 or 1 AA?
Whatever he did the FCS.
Okay, 1 AA.
Yeah. He did the playoffs. That's why he wasn't on the Ohio State preview show.
Okay.
I talked to him the other night because he's put his YouTube channel is going to be sports, but he's a big Star Wars guy. So he's doing a preview of The Mandalorian this week, which I can't be on because I got to start getting stuff packed and everything. I will be on there to do reviews of both Ahsoka and Mandalorian come once everything's settled.
Would you like to actually share the tagline because it was the greatest thing that it might have ever been uttered on these airwaves?
Oh, he calls himself the sporting Sith, and he says, "May the sports be with you." Right?
I'm not a Star Wars guy, but that was gold. My jaw hit the floor. I hate Star Wars.
He had great ideas. Like, for instance, our first episode of the Wise Guys,
Mike.
When we come back,
let it tell the story. It's still here.
Hit the ticker. The first annual Wisey Awards will be sometime in the month of March of this year. And we need presenters. So we're going to need some help there, bud. We have categories now for the best and worst teams, best and worst jerseys, best game, and then Jim and I are going to have individual awards.
I know who's got the worst jersey.
No, I'm nominating that for the best.
It could be either or, I guess. It could win both.
I think it'll be in both.
Alex, you also remember that we also not only had the cluster blank that was the clusterfuck that was the NHL Reverse Retro Series.
We did. That was also Dark Days.
For instance, I'm going to tease one of my categories, and it's going to be Best entrance. And I already have my winner, and no, it's not who you think it is. Same song, different guy. And no, it's not Wilson Contreras.
It can't possibly be Edwin Diaz. You hate him.
I don't hate him anymore. And then I also forgot that he couldn't
Alex, spoiler, it's John Moxley. He's been holding out on us the whole time.
I knew it. Knew it.
Wait, Jim, when you almost landed your Coke Zero through your nose, was it because I was that close to the Pillsbury Doughboy, or because you weren't expecting it?
Yes.
That's the answer we wanted.
So the hiatus is coming, unfortunately, as we won't be able to get on here. Big Rican is going to end up being the once a month show. The Big Rican Baseball Show, the Hermanos de Baseball will be the 6-pack, and anytime we do that, and then of course Jim and I will be polluting the airwaves as often as possible come after March and the Wiseies. So the Wiseies will be the last of our long form episodes. We're going to try and stick to a format. Good luck moving forward after that.
He may have passed on, but you'd have a better time trying to get that thing off of Gorbachev's head.
We have had a Pillsbury Doughboy and a Mikhail Gorbachev reference within 30 seconds of each other. Long form is our way to go.
There's got to be a Dan Fielding joke in here somewhere.
Sidebar. Alex, his kids wrote the new version of the theme song to Night Court. John Larroquette.
No,
Yeah.
no, really?
Yeah.
I'm not spoiling anything, but this time he's on the other side of the fence. He's the public
he's the defender.
Random question: is there any way to find go back and watch the old episodes? Because I watched them when I was like,
yes, there is a website. I was telling Mike about this. I cannot share it on the air because it's not exactly sanctioned. But you can, if you can think of the show, you can go back and watch these if they've got them uploaded. This is actually before I ended up getting cable or like, you know, and we all know my love of the Hallmark Channel, but this is how I would actually get movies or shows the next day that I didn't have a streaming app for. So they usually upload them within 24 to 36 hours, and a lot of the times you can actually even install a downloader in your browser to be able to download the episode for later if you want to download the video file. It might be a gig depending on the size of it, or a movie, but yeah, I'll share that with you guys after we cut off.
okay,
Or at least the one that I use.
You believe they went 193 episodes the first run?
I believe it.
Yeah. Show that's not on the air right now that you're kind of jonesing or going back and watching.
Letterkenny.
Which I need to start because I know it's on Hulu. So I need to go. I'm going to be using this site to go back and watch it.
You don't need to do that.
Letterkenny's
and you know
good.
why.
Can confirm.
To be fair. Jim, Alex will agree with me on this. You need to go look up a clip about Squirrely Dan, who is a stand-up comedian from Canada. He's the one who talks about the different kinds of Captain Crunch. That big dude.
I haven't seen the clip, but I know the conversation because I've heard scuttlebutt about it.
No, the clip about that's not what he's talking about in this one. In this one, he discusses his date from the night before. Alex knows exactly the clip I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And Squirrely Dan discusses his girlfriend's techniques.
It's a phenomenal word to use for that.
I will spoil it by closing this by saying it's called milking the prostate.
I think I need to go back and it might be time to go back and watch the league from start to finish again.
I've heard that's very good. I have not watched it, but Letterkenny, I started with Zachary, and I'm toward the end of season 10. The cold open for the entire series is him and his friend making fun of hockey players to their face.
I've seen some of the clips that you've sent me over the years.
Yeah.
Have you seen the new show that he just
Shorzy?
dropped? Yeah.
My buddy, who I've been friends with since we were 7, he watched it and he said it's just not the same. Still funny, but Shorzy, when you don't see his face and he's talking to them, although I think Shorzy, when he's refereeing the women's games, is even better. I mean,
golden. Fucking golden.
You gave me something to watch tomorrow morning before the Sabres come on at noon, and I go to this game tomorrow night. Thank you.
You're welcome, and I'll send you the information that you need when we get done.
Alex, what are you going back and watching that's not on anymore?
Honestly,
and it doesn't have to be just one. If you got 2 or 3.
I have been dabbling in every once in a while watching a little Saved by the Bell because it's very nostalgic for me.
The original or any of the remakes, or
no, just the original. I have seen the remake, and it's not bad, but the original for me just is in a class of its own.
I have love for the college years only because it's Bob Golick.
Yeah, and the thing is like all of us, that was our generation with 3, grown men here now. That was our generation's Marianne versus Ginger. It was Kelly or Jesse.
It really was. That is an apt comparison, James.
Although now that Alex is here with Chicago, remember the Married with Children episode where they took the wives to the nudie bar? Ginger or Marianne? Ginger. Marianne or Mrs. Howell?
Right before you hopped on, Alex, I was on TikTok just playing, waiting for him to get on. And this scene where Al Bundy talks about how he watches Friends was on. If you turn off the sound and use the binoculars, you should see Cav's Twitter exploding right now, James.
Yeah, that's going to be part of my night after. I'm going to fire up the switch and have that on in the background. I've actually been going back and watching a lot of Sports Night lately. Even though for the only 2 seasons it was on. But one thing I was jonesing for, and I don't even know what triggered it. I think I was like searching through the Roku channel the other day. Anyone remember the show Silk Stockings?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know who wrote Sports Night, Jim?
I know this. Aaron Sorkin.
He was writing season 1 of The West Wing and season 2 of Sports Night at the same time.
Yep. Sports Night, my all-time favorite show. I should have known that a lot faster.
That's funny because right over there are the 7 seasons of The West Wing.
And what actor was in both of them?
Josh Malina.
Josh Malina.
He has been in almost everything Sorkin has done for one reason. Apparently, they were bowling in New York City when they were younger, and Aaron started choking on a hamburger, and Josh Malina saved his life. If you want a good podcast to listen to, if you like The West Wing Weekly, him, Josh Malina, and Rishikesh Hirway actually go through every episode and discuss it, and then they have people on. Like former...
That's a trend I'm noticing lately is shows that aren't on the air. It's like, and they've been off for at least 5 years. You're getting podcasts going back with that.
Yeah, they're watching the guys from Smallville too. So, well, Jim, let's put a bow on this sucker because I think it's getting to be getting to be time. So I want to thank you guys for coming on, celebrating the birthday with me. This is really one of the more fun ways I get to do it outside of spending time with the family, which I'm going to do again tomorrow. Thank you for the well wishes after I told you guys what was going on. I appreciate it. I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited. I'm in my 18th year with this company, so it's going to be fun. And guys, there's a new vacation destination for everybody. Jim, you'll have to leave Ohio.
Say no more.
I just need to make sure that there's a train there because you're never going to get me on a fucking plane with my motion sickness.
There is. You got to come this way, and then you can take it straight down because it's off I-95. Train station's 40 minutes from where we're going to be.
That'd probably be a good 18-hour trip.
Something like that. Get a sleeper.
Yeah, because I know it's 12 to St. Louis.
It's only 10 to Cleveland.
How far are you from Atlanta?
10-hour train. How what?
How far are you going to be from Atlanta?
Few hours. I'm basically Jacksonville North.
Okay.
Put up the comment.
Oh, wow. Oh, thank you.
She's still awake. So, gentlemen, thank you. Jim, thanks for throwing this together so quickly.
DraftKings odds. Who falls asleep first, Alex?
Mike.
This guy.
That's got to be like minus 1,000, right?
Oh, yeah. So, Alex, I know you got to head out, and then Jim and I are going to tie a bow in this. Listen, buddy, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. As we have said time and time again, the Wise Guy Triumvirate is always a ton of fun. And we can go off the rails on this one, and no one's going to care.
No.
Guest presenter or not, Alex is going to be with us on the Wisies. We're going to make sure.
Oh, by the way, it's dressed for the occasion, by the way.
Black tie?
Yes.
Except for me, because I can't wear ties, but yeah.
Get a clip on.
Do you guys have just a ballpark idea as to when in March? End of March? Middle March?
We'll probably know.
March Madness.
Yeah. Oh, because we also said we wanted to do a March Madness episode.
I got an idea. You want to really make this interesting, James? When's St. Patrick's Day?
17th of March, normally.
That's a Friday night. Beer in the Wisies for St. Patrick's Day?
We got to stop having these phenomenal ideas at the very end of the fucking show.
This was the last 15 minutes of the
because
CFP
we can't
preview.
talk about this. Alex has got to leave.
Just clue me in on the text messages, gents.
We got you.
And then we're good.
We got you.
Good. I'll make sure the 16th I'll have a fresh haircut, a clean, dapper son of a bitch.
I cut my hair every couple of days.
Go Jim Rome. Tighten up the lettuce.
Take care, buddy.
All right, thanks, guys.
See you, man.
And Mike and I will wrap up here with you guys for a couple of minutes.
So yeah, oh, dude,
what a night!
That means the Wisies have to be green.
You're gonna see. Well, yeah, I'll discuss this when we go into our wrap ups, our plugs here in a couple of minutes. But yeah, I could probably make that happen on my end.
You're the one with stuff to plug there, brother. I'm going to be packing and going.
The Blue Note actually hasn't come out with anything since the 11th because I'm thinking of a format change. The Blue Note blog, the Sports Note, is going to stay the same. What I'm actually thinking of doing is I started alluding to this after we went off the air with John a couple of weeks ago. I'm thinking of actually expanding the Blue Note on YouTube to be more of a maybe once a week, 30-minute kind of recap show instead of just pigeonholing myself into a 10 to 15-minute episode on the topic that I'm talking about.
That's
Kind
a
of
pretty
not
I
so
like
much like
that.
a Sports Center show, but definitely a little bit more of a talking head kind of show.
a Sports Center kind of show.
I mean, we can't do highlights or recaps or anything like that, but I can
No, but
certainly
we can put our spin on the stories of the day. We've really got to stop having these ideas at the end of the show.
very much so, because that actually could that almost could work.
If we move it to the multiple times a week.
Yeah. You guys are going to see a brand new, you'll probably even get a brand new intro video and better graphics or certain things by the time you guys see us in March. And it's and you're certainly with my first new episode with this format, even if I'm just experimenting, could be as early as Tuesday, because I got equipment coming on Monday from
What do you
Amazon.
got coming?
I'll tell you off the air.
Oh, very nice. So you know what the birthday dinner is this year? Nachos. Yeah.
I just had a great dinner with my mom a few hours earlier. Now
Where'd
you're
you
making
go?
we stayed in and she made.
Oh, nice.
It was kind of this garlic linguine sun-dried tomato shrimp thing.
You lost me at that. I'm not the biggest shrimp guy, James.
I'm going to tell you the same thing I told a friend at work when I called her on my way home. I'm not exactly sure I understand that statement. And then she repeated it because she thought she lost me on the Bluetooth. I said, no, I heard you loud and clear. I just didn't comprehend the words that came out of your mouth.
No, wait a minute. Was it a scampi style shrimp in the thing?
No, it was basically like go to Heinen's and get 10 or 12 de-thawed and detailed shrimp, and just mix them in with the pasta, not diced or anything, just the whole curled shrimp.
No. When I say scampi, I mean with the garlic and the butter and everything else.
No, this was like olive oil and basil and garlic, like crushed garlic, and took us about 20 minutes to make. We were originally supposed to do her taxes and then have her forms didn't arrive.
No,
Yes.
TurboTax is wonderful.
H&R Block is perfect. I've already got all of mine done.
So do we.
I got the email 3:00 this afternoon on my lunch break that Ohio accepted mine. I should have both of my refunds here by the end of the month if all goes right.
That's about what we're looking at too. What was the other one I was going to tell you? Got the Tostitos queso and everything to go with it.
Do you remember the song from the 2000s from Cold Chamber, Loco?
No.
Okay. Comedy metal band I listened to, Psycho Stick, did a cover of it, and they call it Mi Queso.
That's great. Did you see the latest comment from my wonderful spouse?
See,
Okay. Listen.
it's not prison. There's not visitation schedules.
I have to say this now, and I'm sure she can hear me because I'm loud. Puerto Ricans, we're loud.
And I'm loud too, so I imagine there's going to be another chat message that I'm going to have to pop up here in a couple of minutes that might not be suitable for air, even for us.
That's going a long way.
The dialogue that her and I had on Facebook earlier today.
Can I just tell you, she actually said to me in laughter, did you see what Jim commented on my thing I said? So when I tell you And I tell people out there that the Wise Guys aren't just a show, but it's a way of life. It is a way of life because I have a spouse that fully supports it, not only through my behavior, but hers. She is sitting there in our room watching us tonight, and I got to tell you, and I'll say this because it's my birthday show, and I can be a little sappy if I want to. The multi-times a week was her idea. And she goes, listen, you guys have fun. I don't care as long as you do it after 9 o'clock when Bobby's in bed.
For context, yeah, Steph, I'm calling you out. You've earned it.
Are you putting that up? Oh my God.
I might be able to do worse real quick. I don't think you sent this to me. So, you know what? It might have been another one of our high school mutual friends. I'm waiting on the damn thing to load because Facebook's taking forever here.
Yes, I did laugh and like it. It doesn't mean it wasn't bad. What are you putting up, dude? She sent it to me.
I couldn't remember where I got it from.
She shared it on Facebook and she sent it to me on Facebook Messenger. And I can't. Because every time I see him, all I hear is Sheldon Cooper going, "We did."
You still need to watch the tabletop episode that I told you about.
Okay. Well,
that we're going to get some ducks in a row here with things that the other hasn't seen by the time we rejoin you guys. Now that I picked up cable, I actually lost my Peacock subscription ran out, so now I got to figure out where I'm going to get the Goonies from. Yes, I will finally get around to it. It's and Mike actually has to watch the tabletop episode with Will Wheaton and Aisha Tyler. And I also need to send you, for context, the Steve Dangle podcast clip of where they call out the Blackhawks in the midst of the sexual assault scandal that I told you.
Please do.
TV.
Yeah, no, please do. I agree. So, James, I want to thank you again for throwing this together tonight. I want to say thank you for the well wishes. And I'm
more excited. I told you point blank. When you and I talked about this last night, I'm more excited for you than I am for the future of this show, which is going to come back bigger and better than it ever has been.
Yeah.
In 2 months.
No, I think so too. So I know we normally go for a little bit after we're done, but I think tonight I am going to head to bed. And I am going to sleep until it is actually my birthday. But I want to also give a shout out to our buddy Nick Creedes, who is literally to the moment 5 hours older than me. And people wonder why I'm a big sports guy. The day I was born, January 21st, 1979, Super Bowl 13, Pittsburgh, Dallas. My father and the doctor actually put off the cesarean delivery until it went 0-0. Game was over. Doctor came in. Let's have this baby. So I come by it honestly.
And throw big ups to whoever you want before you sign off.
First off, to my wife who's still watching and not only commenting on YouTube, but sending me text messages. Thank you for watching, honey, and thank you for being the driving force, not only behind this, but also the ability for me to take the leap I did to get to where we're going to go, to get us out of the snow. She actually looked up how what the most snowfall one year was for that town. It was 4 inches in 1989.
I was going to say, because you get anything more than 3, the whole city will shut down.
That's the point.
Yeah.
But also a big shout out to you, who you bought in from the first time we did this, and it just keeps getting better and better.
And just wait until we're back with you in 2 months. Wait until things change.
So
I gotta say, big ups to my co-host. Congratulations.
Thank you.
To you and Steph, all the kids. I hope this goes smoothly for you. You guys want to make a quick, 2-hour stopover in Cleveland? We can go out to dinner, figure something out. On a non-wise guys level, big ups to all the great news that keeps coming out daily with DeMar Hamlin, Bills Mafia represent. Big ups to my boy Adam Cole for making his long-awaited return to AEW after 6 months on the shelf with severe concussion injuries. Condolences go out to the family of Ring of Honor wrestler legend Jay Briscoe, who unfortunately passed away on Wednesday from a car accident. And we will see you guys here. Stay tuned to both of our Facebook and Twitter feeds, and we will keep you guys abreast as to when exactly we will be back, because that St. Patrick's Day is fluid as it stands right now. We'll have more updates on the Wiseies as we go, and as I get updates, you'll actually see them on the new and improved sports node. So I'll share what Mike allows me to do, because he's going to be away from you guys entirely for a little while.
Take care, everybody. Enjoy the weekend, and I'll see you in a couple of months.